What's up? Welcome in. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for being here with us. And as always, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, there are so many options out there to take in your content. Thank you so much for making the 49ers Report a part of your day. On the docket for today's show, 49ers breakout candidates. 5 players who I think are going to break out for San Francisco in 2023. And I'm excited to dive into this list because I do believe a lot of these players have potential on this team, in this system, given their current environments. Jordan Mason, breakout candidate number 1 throughout Niners mandatory minicamp. He was getting second-team reps with Elijah Mitchell injured once again. And why I think Mason can pop in his sophomore campaign. Showed some serious ability last year, whether it be in the regular season or in the playoffs. He really does remind us a little bit of Marshawn Lynch. I kept saying that prior to the year last year, just because he runs like a bull and has that level of physicality. He'll lay that shoulder down, put his helmet on somebody, and keep it moving. Elijah Mitchell's injury questions could vault Mason into that RB2 role, just allowing him to get more carries, and if that happens, the numbers will go up, thus making him a breakout candidate. And what's the best part about this is Jordan Mason, as an undrafted free agent, made the team last year, contributed on offense as well as special teams, but he was not content with that. He didn't settle. He came into this offseason in better shape, and he actually displayed pass-catching ability out of the backfield for the Niners, something that Elijah Mitchell can't really do. And Mason didn't really show last year, but has shown that so far this offseason. Further information here on Jordan Mason. Remember the name Jordan Mason. This is a player who I think is my prime breakout candidate for the Niners here in 2023, just because of the style in which he plays with and the fact that it's a contrasting style to what the Niners have in Christian McCaffrey, who's a do-it-all back. You need this type of running back who's going to run your ass over and keep it moving. Of the 270 rushing yards that Mason had in 2022, 190 of those yards came after contact, and his 4.22 yards after contact was the second highest rate in the NFL last year among qualifying running backs. 16% of Mason's runs went for 10-plus yards on a limited workload. To compare that to Christian McCaffrey, only 13% of McCaffrey's runs went for 10-plus yards. Jordan Mason, breakout candidate for the Niners. Make sure you interact with me on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me there at Chase_Senior, but also let's hear from you down in the comment section as well. And let me know if you do reach out to me, a breakout candidate for the Niners here. Who will be RB2? Is it going to be Mason? Is it going to be Elijah Mitchell? Sound off with what you think down in the comment section. That's one of our poll questions. Available now. Real One Roll Call. If you want to get yourself a Real One shirt, I rock these on the show all the time. You can cop them. Chatsports.com/Real149. What is a real one? You go about your life with no fear. You have some pep in your step, a little bit of gusto, a little bit of swagger and confidence. Most importantly, though, you support the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chatsports.com/Real149. Get yourself a Real One shirt right now. Breakout candidate numero dos, Drake Jackson. Entering a pivotal year 2, just like Jordan Mason is, but the pressure's on Drake Jackson more so than Jordan Mason because of where he was drafted last year in that second round. And there's also pressure on Drake Jackson considering how he ended last year. Now for Jackson heading into his sophomore campaign, needed to get stronger, needed to add muscle, needed to increase his stamina. Been able to do that. Added 13 pounds during the offseason. Does that make him slower and less explosive, or does that allow him to survive the rigors of an NFL season? He did have 3 sacks in his first 6 games last year. Then, as Kyle Shanahan noted, Drake Jackson admitted, so too did Chris Kocurek, he wore down physically and was inactive for 5 of 6 games to end the year. Jackson's Pro Football Focus numbers a year ago: 228 pass rushing snaps, 16 total pressures, 9 total hurries, 3 hits, and 3 sacks. These numbers have to be better just because he has to rise up to the occasion, show up, ball out, and play better to help out Nick Bosa a little bit from not having to take on so many double teams, which I believe made him a little bit fatigued at the end of the year. So with that, let's ask you this. How many sacks will Drake Jackson have in 2023? I'm going to go 6. I think 6 is a really safe number. He had 3 last year. 6 is pretty good production. That would have been second on the team in sacks last year. Sticking at that edge rusher spot, Drake Jackson's going to be competing for first-team snaps with Clelin Ferrell. Clelin Ferrell, known as a bust in Raider Nation, right? He comes to a team that develops the you-know-what out of defensive lineman. He also comes to an organization that I'm sure he's happy about, has the best defensive line coach in the NFL in Chris Kocurek. Chris Kocurek has shown time and time again that he can maximize players along the defensive line and really turn them into very quality players. Clelin Ferrell, look at his numbers last year. He's only 26 years old, but everybody's like, dude, this guy has done nothing in his career as a former 4th overall pick back in 2019, and you're kind of right. 2 sacks a year ago, has inside-outside versatility as an edge and a slighter defensive tackle. His career stats up to this point, only 10 sacks since 2019 in 58 total games and 32 quarterback hits with 15 tackles for loss. But think about all of the defensive linemen that Kocurek has been able to maximize, and I'm just naming a few here. Jordan Willis, Charles Omenihu, Arden Key, Kerry Hyder Jr. He's helped develop Nick Bosa, Samson Ebukam. Like every player that he can coach up, it's a diamond in the rough, and he maximizes that individual player. And I think it's really important for San Francisco to simply get after the quarterback a little bit more this year, and that's why the pressure is on Drake Jackson and Clelin Ferrell. Now, I think Ferrell is a good breakout candidate because if he has 5 or 6, that would be a career high for him. But Niners sack rates over the last 6 years, 2022, they were 15th. 2021, they were 4th. 2020, 24th. 2019, 2nd in the NFL. That's the year they made it to the Super Bowl. 2018, 19th. And 2017, 29th. So the Niners, when they have an elite sack rate, they make it to the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship game. Last year, they were middle of the pack, still made it to the NFC Championship game, but they have to be better in that area. Make sure you subscribe to the show, and when you do hit that sub button, make sure you turn on your notifications. We give you content every single day, and anytime we go live, anytime we push out a video, if you do turn on your noties, you'll be notified. Just hit that bell icon. A lot of times, I don't use rookies as breakout candidates. But what if I told you that Ji-Ayir Brown as a 3rd-round pick would start for this football team alongside Talanoa Hufanga, and he would overtake Deshaun Gibson's role as a starting safety? And because of that, I think I can use him as a breakout candidate. Rookies don't often get deemed as breakouts, but I honestly think that Ji-Ayir Brown is going to push to start. The early word is that Brown has been impressing everybody. And I'm from Pennsylvania. For my previous job prior to hosting the 49ers Report and being here at Chat Sports, I did work in Pennsylvania. I covered Penn State football. I think they've done one of the best jobs of developing professional talent within that program since James Franklin went to Happy Valley. And Ji-Ayir Brown is one of the most recent of those products. An instinctual player who always seems to be in the right place at the right time, making a game-changing play. And while his athletic testing numbers didn't blow people away, he is a pretty good athlete, and he's shown that early on. A lot of people are like, this dude's come in, he's acting like the vet already. The Penn State program does that with a lot of players, setting themselves up for professional success. Another reminder, interact with me, Twitter, Instagram, slide in my DMs, say what's up. Do not be a stranger. I'm trying to grow both of my platforms here. You'll see I'm verified on Twitter, not on Instagram, but it's me, and I'm the only @Chase_Senior. I don't have any other duplicate accounts. Just wanted to let y'all know. An offensive lineman will come in our number 5 spot for breakout candidate number 5, and that is Spencer Burford, offensive guard who got a vote of confidence from Chris Forrester, the offensive line coach for this team, when he said that, yeah, Burford, he's penciled in as the starting right guard, as is Colton McKivitz at that right tackle position. Burford was pretty solid last year for a rookie, and it's hard to step into that role as a rookie for a team that was in the Final Four. Started 16 games. Offensive linemen often make really big strides in year 2. So while his Pro Football Focus grades were a little bit spotty last year, he was serviceable at least. He needed to add weight and muscle, and that's what he was able to accomplish this offseason. And I think that just makes him a more consistent player who doesn't get pushed around as much. For a rookie to pull off this, though, as a late-round pick, mid-round pick, 744 snaps at right guard, 5 penalties, 4 sacks allowed, 5 hits allowed, 16 pressures. Like, those aren't atrocious numbers. You can certainly be worse than that. And let's look no further than another player who last year in year 2, after having not played at all in year 1, did make some of those significant strides. And that's Aaron Banks, who only gave up 1 sack in year 2. So on the same developmental path, can Spencer Burford follow that trajectory as well? I believe that is going to be the case. Who is your number 1 Niners breakout candidate for 2023? Chime in. We want to hear from the faithful.